This is Smithy.tv.
Halloween Havoc style. Sweet. Yeah, and for some reason you're wondering what you're looking like or on camera. That's the
Since
one.
I have a green screen behind me, can you just like superimpose stuff?
Well, I was like thinking it's like we need one more color we could make for like Alberto Del Rio or something like that.
Yeah, you could.
Hey guys, welcome to Vintage Podcast. I'm the Lindsay Lewis,
At Kevin Harron.
and I don't know who this is. This is
My name is Ryan Mills. I'm a friend of Lindsay and Kevin.
who have you known longer?
Kevin by a long shot.
That's it. You son of a bitch.
It's true. It's damn true.
Over the past few years, you've watched wrestling off and on kind of thing, and we've done wrestling parties and all that. We thought we'd bring you on and just kind of have some fun, and you can maybe share some shameful memories, not Sheamus-wise, but just have a good time and talk favorite matches and everything.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, sir.
And if you suck at the show, and maybe we suck too, it goes for us too, you get put through this table.
That's true.
Or you have to watch a Sheamus match. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
both are
We'll
equally
yell
bad.
at Kev on, get the tables, and then I'll have to put you through a table.
It's only fair.
Well, yeah.
So how long have you, like, as a kid, when did you start watching wrestling?
I started watching probably in 1991.
Okay.
I was-
Coliseum video time? Like the VHS,
Yeah.
those yellow VHSs? I
Yeah,
love
pretty
those.
much. I mean, when Undertaker made his debut Survivor Series.
1990,
Yeah,
yeah.
Million Dollar Man introduced him.
Brother Love and
Yeah,
like,
and
Yeah.
then
like Bret Hart's team and Dusty Rhodes, yeah. It was,
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was, but really I was watching it off and on. WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
With-
It always starts with Hogan, although he doesn't exist
yeah,
right
Hogan.
now.
No.
I was such a Hogan
Brother.
fan. I was such a Hogan fanboy when I was a kid. I admit to it. I mean, if I could go back in time, I'd tell myself not to be. But
See, I think everyone, especially at that era, was at least exposed to it to a certain degree. Like for me, it was like my grandma on my dad's side watched it religiously, and like she's about like 4 foot, like 4'8", like just this little like just firecracker of a woman, and she's just like screaming at the TV, and like my mom never wanted me to watch it, so like she would always just kind of sneak me in and like show me. So it was like things with like like Dusty Rhodes and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like back in the day, and
Like
then like
Steamboat.
and then like in the early '90s,
Earthquake.
then like watching things like
Tugboat.
Tugboat,
Was
yeah.
it Typhoon?
It was Tugboat first, and then Typhoon.
Yeah.
I remember it
Became the
more as
national
Typhoon.
disaster.
Yeah, and then Earthquake was a Shockmaster at one point.
Yeah, he was with a Stormtrooper helmet,
Yeah.
which is,
One of the greatest
We will-
flippers in wrestling history.
and we will get into funny stuff tonight, but that's one of the
Yeah.
classics.
But and then like just kind of slowly went into the era of like Bret Hart and all that, and I think like that's kind of what you're talking about, like the
Yeah,
that era.
absolutely. And when Ric Flair made his debut, won the Royal Rumble.
That's okay.
I
Like, as a
remember-
kid, I hated that because
Oh,
like Ric
man.
Flair was such a bad guy,
Mhm.
but now it's such a respect. Like you respect it so much.
My dad was the biggest wrestling fan in the early '90s, and he really was
Shout out to Glenn.
yeah, he was the one that got me into it. And I remember him coming up to me and saying, "Ric Flair's going to win the Royal Rumble," and I kept telling him, "No, he's
Was it live though, or was it VHS where he saw it a bunch
No,
of
no, it
times?
was live. It was a live
I think
pay-per-view.
Ric Flair's gonna come in third and win
But
it all.
he followed the storylines. I guess maybe the storylines were a little more predictable back
Yeah.
then. But he was trying to convince me. And then I think Flair came out. Correct me if I'm wrong. He came out third.
Yeah.
Second or third.
He
And
had
I-
the second or third or fourth longest reign. The number
Yeah.
one guy, who used to have number one.
Backlund.
No, it was Chris Benoit.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
well yeah,
And
then there was
but lucky for them, Rey Mysterio.
Mysterio,
Then 2 years
yeah.
later beat that. 2 years later beat that. But
Yeah.
no, he at that time he had
Yeah.
he's sweating like crazy. Hogan's
Yeah.
in it. Everyone's like, oh, Hogan or Sid are supposed
Yeah,
to be
and
the guy
then
who wins.
Sid Vicious or Sid
Justice, I think.
Justice
At that time.
not Psycho Sid. It was pre-Psycho Sid. Eliminated him.
He
Hogan
grabbed,
eliminated.
he
Yeah,
grabbed Hogan like he pulled his arm over the ropes.
yeah, which was just ridiculous.
But
But
those were the
I remember my dad telling me that, and I saw Flair coming out third, and I was like, "There's no way he's gonna win. He's like an old guy." And next thing you know, Flair wins, and I'm crying.
cried. Or?
Oh yeah, I was. What was that? 1992.
I think yeah.
I was
9,
9 years
92 or
old.
93, something like that.
Yeah. Well, either way, I cried. I
Yeah.
into it. I
It's
was
probably
really,
like
really
92,
into it
yeah.
back then. So.
Well, no, you get it. Like I remember, like Sting losing in WCW, and you're like, why would you do that? Why? Like he should win. You know, like you half know it's a storyline, but you don't get why. Or like when he betrayed WCW, it's like bring back Venice Beach thing. You know, like we all had those like things. My thing for wrestling is, did you guys ever have like get the talk where like you can watch it, you can't reenact it and stuff like that? Because some kids. You know, if you watch wrestling, you would be like, you put the sharpshooter or like try to do stuff to people. Did you ever get that?
No, my parents let us reenact everything. My brother and I actually had a fake wrestling.
Also,
league.
his brother looks a lot like Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So picture Kevin Owens facing this guy.
Exactly. But yeah, we had our own wrestling universe, you can call it.
Did you have a ring?
We would put two couches together and we'd throw each other over the couch.
Royal
That would be the
You always did picture. You're like, we should set up a fake Royal Rumble and do that.
Yeah. I mean, I still
We're
have a
grown men.
desire to have a good old fashioned Royal
Hey, you have a
Rumble.
backyard now.
Yeah, I do.
So-
it's
Backyard
big
brawl?
enough for a ring, I think.
Backyard brawl.
Oh man.
But
That's
no, my brother and I, my brother's always been bigger than me, maybe 30 pounds or so. So I can never pick him up, but he could always pick me up. So he was always power bombing me, doing suplexes. And I was a high flyer. I kind of just jumped off the turnbuckle and did
Marty,
the elbow.
Off the tree.
Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, a little Marty Jannetty. Actually, Shane and I, that's my brother.
Dear God.
Our
Dear
tag
God,
team
Shane.
was based on the Rockers, and I was a Marty Jannetty, and he was a Shawn Michaels.
Did he ever
No.
put you through a barbershop window? That's the important thing.
Classic WWE or WWF.
Through the front door,
Oh.
front window.
Did you really?
No,
like,
he didn't.
Did you guys? No, I meant the screen. Like maybe you kicked to the screen. You're like, let's tape it up so mom.
No, I
doesn't see
mean
it.
we made sure we didn't hurt each other. I mean his final move was the sharpshooter.
So did he
But,
meet you in this feud?
he would do it pretty tight. It'd be.
Did
kinda
he
tough.
actually? So would he make you actually try to submit?
No, we would kind of commentate as we were
Okay,
going.
so you actually,
and
because I know some people
he'd
like,
be
they
like-
take it very serious. And
he'd
they
do like a fake crowd noise, and I'd be like, okay, this guy's gonna win. So I'd tap out. We were great storytellers when we were young.
There's-
So.
your neighbors.
But
were
anyway,
probably like,
it
what?
was pretty. Looking back, it's kind of ridiculous and goofy that we even did that. But I'm pretty sure every huge wrestling fan when they were a kid had
Some
some
point,
sort of
yeah.
Oh, I think
thing going on, or I could be the only
Suplex or
one. I don't know.
powerbomb, you know.
Yeah.
Around 1996, you have a bald friend come by and just spears everyone.
Goldberg fan. It's like he's huge now. I'm gonna spear everybody.
Yeah.
And then again,
Just-
like punch through a car and like destroy my arm.
Billy Goldberg.
Sparklers? No. What was I gonna ask? Did you guys when we watched The Rockers? Were you guys like going like Marty Jannetty, like you were rooting for him like crazy, and then you're like, what happened to him? And just like he, as a kid, you loved the guy, and then Shawn Michaels somehow became the star.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting Michaels to turn heel on that fateful day in the barbershop.
That fateful night or day.
And then he was thrown through the window, and you didn't really hear anything about him after. I know he kind of came back.
I think they sort of feuded then because I did
Yeah.
like I
But
vaguely
there
remember
was-
that moment from like tapes, but
That was pretty much like his big moment was that, and it was just like, I don't know. He always seemed to me like a very just generic wrestler.
Yeah.
Like he was like the template in a creator wrestler in like the.
he works
The
as a
wrestling
tag team
games.
guy. Like he works as a tag team guy. But
Yeah.
on his own, he kind of didn't have
Yeah.
anything there,
I
and
think-
it just
Yeah, he didn't really change his tights or anything. He was just sort of like half a rocker.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so it actually
Where
gets
Shawn
back-
Michaels had this brand new persona.
and like
Maybe
he,
not persona, but just
well, you know,
Yeah,
he had a
I'd say
brand new
persona, new
like,
tights and
Heartbreak
everything,
Kids,
right?
like it just like it had that '90s look, and
Yeah.
he grew with it. He had Sensational Sherry for a bit. He had like
And that sensational mullet.
oh god,
the-
I think it was permed.
Yeah. Oh
Pretty
man.
bad.
But the Jannetty, the sad part is when you see him years later, like he was used again when like whenever Shawn Michaels needed a guy who was like, I want to face you, I'm gonna destroy you, like, and like how do I want to
Yeah.
match with you? I'm gonna take apart like beat up. Wasn't it Kurt Angle? He beat up Sensational Sherry and then he beat up Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
And, like Vince McMahon had Marty Jannetty kiss his ass and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
They bring him back when he needs money, and it's heartbreaking because he still wears sort of the rocker stuff, but he's like
Yeah.
like 50 or so, and he's just like, I just came out of jail. Jail.
Oh god. Yeah. He's
He's the heartbreak kid.
Yeah.
He's the real
He's a
heartbreak
heartbroken
kid.
kid.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I guess in terms of like in the vein of what we did in our first episode, we can ask you a couple of the same questions. So I think one of the big ones that we went off on was theme songs.
Yeah.
So, do you have a like an entrance theme, like a favorite entrance theme of all time?
Oh, I have
just
a
jolts in your
couple.
body. You're like, yeah, you know.
I would say by far it's Macho Man.
Macho Man, yeah.
The music is such a contrast.
Pomp and
to-
Circumstance.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that like a graduation song?
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah, it's
So
like,
he's this macho guy, but he has this,
But just like-
upbeat classical song.
But just like you, if you watch wrestling, that's all you think is Macho Man. If you're
Yeah.
a regular person, you're like, it's a graduation theme. Why
But
do you
it
listen to
it
that?
seemed to work. I know when I heard it for the first time, I didn't question it.
Oh, yeah.
It matches him. It's fine. I thought $1 Million Man's was amazing.
Everyone had a price, and like
Yeah.
that song was the price. Yeah, like that song was amazing. Like it summed up his character so
Yeah.
well, and like you love hearing it, and that's why it's like, yeah. And you're ready to boo. So like he
Yeah.
played it perfectly, and just seeing that little title belt that probably actually like when you watch it now, it looks like a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Like it looked like it could have ripped up.
You know who it looked pretty awesome on though?
Hashtag Virgil, yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Is that where we're going with this?
I think so. Well,
Virgil, you can't downplay his theme though. It's pretty
Okay.
decent.
I love the, again, we've talked about this, and I just want to give a shout out to, if anyone hasn't listened to our Virgil Palooza episode, listen to it on iTunes or watch it on YouTube. It's, at least for me, I don't know about you, Kevin, but it's actually my favorite episode we've ever done.
yeah, and yeah, we're gonna get into some Virgil talk right now. So if you want to get caught up, just hit pause on this recording right now and go back to Virgil Palooza and just experience the glory that is Virgil. Yes.
Hashtag Virgil, yes. Hashtag Virgil, no. We'd love to know.
At
Once
the
you
real
listen-
Virgil.
At
Oh.
the real Virgil. He's, since our Virgil Palooza, he's at now like $500.
Didn't it cap at that though? Like, didn't it stop, or is it still going?
I think he can still kind of go, like GoFundMe. It's one of those, it's that weird thing, but it definitely at best he's like leaving with $500 cash.
So he's got $500 of certified fuck money.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, we didn't realize he was calling it fuck money until after a thing, so we do regret not having fuck money.
Oh
mentioned.
my God.
Apologies for the swearing, but
That was my
I'm not
biggest
sorry.
complaint after listening to the episode.
Oh my God.
you're like, why didn't they mention fuck money? You're like, we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Yeah, so I actually did, so what I was trying to get back to is Virgil's theme I love, because I actually liked him a lot. One of my favorite matches of all time was Virgil versus $1 Million Man, 1991 SummerSlam. So I actually did like the guy a lot, but as you don't realize who they are as real people and all that, then you're like, oh, this guy's kind of like a joke or an asshole. And so like as a kid, he had such a good theme song, and it made you like want to fight.
He was the underdog that you were rooting for. He
He's
was the
never-
absolute underdog.
He still is.
He had to climb, and he climbed all the way to the top, and then he just kind of fizzled out.
And if you read his,
And in real life,
He's trying to climb back up though right now.
but my favorite
enough
my
fuck
favorite-
money can.
My favorite quote in his Indiegogo or GoFundMe campaign is like, "You all know who I am, wrestling superstar." I go like, other than like guys like us around if
Yeah.
it's like 80s or so, or like anyone who's like, they don't know who he is.
Yeah.
He was
And-
Mike Jones. He wore an NWO shirt.
Yeah.
He was Virgil. He lost. I remember he fought Baskin Booger.
Yeah.
And Adam Bomb.
But the thing is, like, whenever somebody says, "Hey, remember Virgil," it's never like a, "Hey, remember Virgil." It's always just like, "Yeah, remember Virgil."
LonelyVirgil.net. Yeah.
like it's always like a, oh, look at that sad bastard.
It's heartbreaking because I really did like the guy, but
Mhm.
as you learn more, it's like so you like $1 Million Man's theme, you like Macho Man. Did you like the classics like Mr. Perfect and Hulk
Yeah,
Hogan?
you know what? I kind of had a soft spot for those as well. Mr. Perfect. I felt like that embodied his character completely.
Especially
His-
when he wore the blue tights.
his-
Those
yeah.
was like my favorite color.
He
and
threw
just,
the
like,
towel at
the
the
tower of the
mirror,
gum,
yeah.
and he did those like throwing the football or basketball
Yeah,
videos.
I loved Roddy Piper. It's because I have a Scottish background, so I had a soft spot for him.
I remember back in high school, Ryan and I went to high school together. I used to make him mix CDs
Were
all
you
the
guys in
time.
the same stable in the high school? Or were you guys opposing like teams when you're there? Like, were you friends there? Or were you like?
Oh yeah, no, we're
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we're friends.
Yeah, and I would always make him a CD. He'd give me like a list of songs I had to put on, so I'd download them all, put them on. But I would always put a like a secret track at the end, and I'm pretty sure, but like 98% sure that one of them was the Mr. Perfect theme at the end.
Yeah, I think we had the full Hulk Hogan song.
Yeah.
Um,
It was Golden Girls theme as
yeah,
well.
that was another one. Thank you for being a friend. It was Kevin, ending the CD with a nice message. So
Yeah.
appreciated
It's
that.
uplifting.
Yeah.
But no, the wrestling, like, there's something, like, it's the first thing you hear, it's great. Was there a song that you hated, or you're like, this guy, poor guy or girl, like, or diva, whatever word you want to use, Like, was there a song you're kind of like this? No, it was a joke song you laughed at. It was so
No,
bad.
I
can't think of it. Like, I feel like there's a bunch of those ones. It's so generic, you'd forget them.
I hated the Road Warriors theme. I hated it.
Oh, what a rush!
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hated it so much.
Really?
Yeah, no,
You didn't
I
get
was
like.
I was never a Road Warriors fan, like ever.
I was well.
It's interesting because I never
Were you a
realized.
Legion of Doom fan?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Legion of
It's the
Doom.
Mel
I
Gibson
guess they
one
were
you're
the
talking
Road
about?
Warriors. And then
Yeah,
they-
well, yeah, the Road Warrior, Hawk, and Animal, the Legion of Doom. Yeah, I was never a fan of theirs. I just.
You know what? I'm gonna make a. You guys might not like this, but I liked Bret Hart's old theme. I didn't like when they changed it.
How did they change it?
Well, they made it an electric guitar. Yeah, like the big solo in it and stuff. There's a lot of there's a kind of a subtle change to it, but I didn't like the subtle.
Are you
change.
talking about like the 2012 version?
I think it's more like 1997.
Okay,
98.
I like
Yeah.
that version. It was
Yeah.
the version they did when he came back in like 2000. Like
I kind of like the Heart Foundation, like when he just
Yeah.
did that one. Yeah, it's very like softer, a little softer.
Yeah.
they're
My
doing-
mellow ears. Yeah.
But no, the classic Hogan, you had Ultimate Warrior. WCW, I listed off Too Cold Scorpio, Stings, Alex Wright had a good
Yeah.
song. Do you remember Alex Wright, the dancing guy?
There's
Oh, yeah,
Disco
yeah.
Inferno as well.
Disco Fever, yeah. Did you watch WCW at all?
I'm going to shamefully say no. I was a WWF fan growing up, and it was blasphemous if I watched WCW.
It's funny 'cause
Looking
you're
back,
talking-
I should have.
You should have,
watched
because
both,
you're sitting
but-
beside two guys who were more, even though he doesn't seem that way, we were both more pro WCW.
W.
Feel so inferior right now.
Wow.
I'm like a
Ted
Bo,
Turner, we had Ted Turner fuck money.
Yeah.
I'm like a Bo Dallas.
We had that Ted
in a
Cash.
room with two Brock Lesnar's right now.
Ah, wow. It is a daunting task sitting behind or between a Lindsay and Kevin sandwich. So
This is a
you're the
terrible
meat in this bun.
Yep.
This is a bad stable. This is like the bad preview of a stable. They're like WWE would put
Yeah.
like this. We're right now. We're the Ascension.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, they'll be good. You're like, maybe we should cut this before.
Yeah, we're like Los Matadores.
we're there, and they're like,
Yeah.
we kind of don't like. We're not gonna fire you, but we
Yeah.
need you to face guys and lose, and do your hot spots and all that. And like, although like, I don't know if you guys watched it, but so right before SummerSlam, there was a match on SmackDown. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the end, but it was Los Matadors and El Torito versus New Day. And basically, by the end of the match, it ended up being Big E versus El Torito, and Big E crushed him and all that. And then Xavier was like, "Get me in!" And he tags him in, and he pins him 1, 2, 3, and celebrated like it's the greatest thing ever. And then Kofi Kingston gives him a bouquet of flowers, and it's one of the funniest things.
Oh.
That, and then they became, we'll talk about it in our SummerSlam show, but they became tag team champions, which is awesome. They are the best. Two-time tag team champions who hopefully will now hold it for 4 years straight.
I hope they keep it forever.
Yeah, 4 years or
Yeah.
forever.
No one else deserves the tag team championship.
I don't think
belts.
so.
Not
No.
even the Dudleys, I said.
Not even.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a wrestler you actually didn't really like growing up? Like, I guess we can talk WWF because you weren't really a WWF.
I wasn't a big Texas Tornado fan. I always
Wow.
found him kind of boring.
It's interesting you're saying all that. You guys are saying like the good guys you didn't like, because I was always like, as a kid you buy it. Like now, like you wonder why people like John Cena, the kids. But like if you watched as a kid, you probably would love John Cena.
Yeah. You mean like ones I hated when I was a kid?
Or just like when they
Just
came out,
what
you're like,
didn't root
I would
for?
maybe fast forward to this Tito Santana match or something. No offense.
Yeah. I
Tito's
would
your
say
boy, El Matador.
El Matador or Tito Santana. I think that was his lower years for sure. He was kind of like a mid-carder.
Yeah.
Mid-carders back then were mid-carders.
But you were saying Texas
Yeah.
Tornado?
Texas Tornado, I just didn't find him entertaining at all.
Yeah.
You know, I did find out that he had a prosthetic leg. Maybe that's why he didn't move around
Wait,
too much.
he had a prosthetic leg like during his 90s run?
Texas Tornado, yeah.
You might be
You
fact
didn't know
checked
that?
on this episode.
Yeah, you might have to check it. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm
at
sorry.
Ryan
but
_Mills on
Yeah.
Twitter if he's wrong, not me or Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
yeah, apparently his right boot was a prosthetic leg.
Would you
Sorry,
like
or boot.
Texas
But
Tornado.
Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah, I know Mad Dog Vachon had a.
So maybe he was limited with what he could do, and that's why I didn't find him that entertaining.
Imagine he's not, and then you're like, oh, he's
Yeah.
just like shitty wrestler tonight.
He fought like he had one leg.
Yeah, he fought like he had one Zach Allen
Yeah.
style. Okay, so we discussed it on our opening show. Our favorite match of all time. Is there a match that sticks out to you that's just classic?
One that always sticks out to me was the first ladder match between
Shawn
Michaels,
Michaels,
and
yeah.
Razor Ramon.
Not
I know.
the first ever ladder match.
No, I know there were two, which I told you about the other day. I can't
Ric Flair and Bret Hart.
No, Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels had
Yeah.
two matches.
They did, but it's not. You said it's the first ever ladder match. You are
No,
incorrect
I
there.
said their first.
Oh, okay, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
the first
I'm
of
just
two.
trying to
Yeah.
challenge you to a fight
Context.
right now.
No, but they took it and made it like into a marketable
It was
thing.
it was
and, yeah.
amazing, and I can rewatch that match over and over. Another one that sticks out to me is Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. It was a great way to start off the show.
Same card, actually, right?
Yeah,
Are you talking
yeah.
about like the WrestleMania
I think
10?
it was. I think WrestleMania 10 or
Yeah.
8, whatever it was.
Yeah, 10, because they open the card. He loses to his brother, and then
He
wins
beats
the title.
Yokozuna.
A year
A
later,
year after Hogan
after
wanted
Hogan,
that belt.
He's like, brother, I want the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can almost
Uh.
hear Bret Hart's teeth grinding at the end of that match.
It's like not knowing these things as a kid. You're kind
Yeah.
of just like confused, but it makes sense later on. You're like, oh, there's politicking, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's especially like being the age range we were during the like the Montreal screw job. Like we were like a little bit like we were I guess as 97, so I guess we were probably in like what grade 8 or so.
Yep.
And like back then I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. And I stopped watching wrestling for years after that.
Yeah.
After the Montreal screw job.
Was Bret Hart your favorite wrestler?
Oh, he was my favorite at the time.
Yeah.
It was just amazing to watch. Just a great wrestler and great on the mic.
I don't agree with the great on the mic part.
Really?
'cause
His heel, when he went
Oh,
heel,
his heel
it was
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like he's never
fantastic.
had a good like other than like giving shades to a kid. He wasn't the
Yeah.
greatest on the mic.
Yeah, his anti-American like pro-Canada stuff I thought was really good, but he had to have the Hart Foundation behind him. I think
Yeah, that's
that
true.
was like one of the
And Brian,
things.
Brian. Pillman.
Yeah, like he had a good like good heel persona, but he had to have those other people kind of backing him up.
Especially when he fought like the Patriot.
Yeah.
Who was the original Kurt Angle theme song, which is
Really?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I was like, hey, it's
Makes
the
sense.
Patriots theme. Like I thought. So I always thought for a while Kurt Angle was the Patriot, just because you're like, oh, he came back and just like he lost the mask, but not at all. And like apparently that guy did like steroids and stuff like that. Del Wilkes or whatever his name is.
Oh, jeez.
That's if you know these things, that's awesome.
The actually, I just speaking of how it was the Patriots theme and Kurt Angle's theme. I recently just saw something I rewatched the Miz's dad's Titantron.
Sorry, Kevin sends me this video like every 3 months. I'll get a message from Kevin. It'll just be hit this GIF or like a YouTube link, and it's just Mrs. Dad's video. I love it.
It's pretty because somebody
With
made a
Kevin sent me a
Titantron of it.
screenshot of Mrs. Dad's face.
Oh yeah, he said yeah.
And it's but I found out the theme song they use, and like I never placed it before, but it was the theme song they used for David Flair in like his
Oh.
one or two.
Like WCW stuff?
No, the WWE one.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was in for like I think like 2 matches or something like that, and he had like this awful theme song. So somebody
Which was
just
Mrs.
took-
Dad's theme?
So just took David Flair's theme and put Mrs. Dad on it,
That's
and I
awesome.
thought that was really funny.
That is very funny. Did you ever watch David Flair win the World Heavyweight Championship?
Unfortunately, when I stopped watching wrestling after I think it was '97, I didn't watch it very much until
Yeah.
2010,
So okay, so you
2011.
just recently kind of got back.
Yeah, I
in the
recently
last
got
few years.
into it. Now I'm kind of watching it retrospectively, if that's even a word. But yeah, I unfortunately didn't see that match.
It's a classic moment.
So what brought you back in?
Really, you guys.
Yeah.
I know. I you know, when you hit your teenage years, you're a bit nervous or kind of in the closet when it came to being a wrestling fan.
There's
I
a
kind of
stigma, or there's a thing that there's just like it's the same with like someone going
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy's a Jews head or something like that. It's like it's actually I think of it like as like athletic soap opera, and just like you see some
It's
amazing
just-
stuff and storylines, you know.
you don't like. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
It's a show that doesn't take itself.
It
completely
can be
serious.
Seamus.
Yeah.
It can be fun.
Looks
You just have to
stupid.
find it.
I have a theory though that if you
Monster
go to a group of like 8 people and say like, oh, you know, who here watches wrestling, and none of them speak up, at least 4 or 5 of them are lying.
Yeah.
You know, like
My brother was consistently a wrestling fan, so the years I stopped watching, he watched throughout, so he would tell me about it. I guess he was kind of a closet wrestling fan as well, but he was comfortable telling me because we loved it growing up. So he'd tell me a little bit about it, and he'd tell me about Owen Hart and what happened to him, and Stone Cold and where it was going, and so he kind of kept telling me about it, and I found out the Undertaker was still there, and I was a huge Undertaker fan when I was a kid.
I hate Undertaker.
I know you're not a big fan of him.
The
but-
Undertaker and DX, I thought those were like
Yeah.
they're good and talented. I thought there's better people to give TV
Yeah.
time to, like Steve
And
Blackman.
he told me about like
Just kidding.
like Triple H and Katie Vick and all these like really weird things coming out of the WWE that I
Mae
remember
Young's
when I was a
aunt and
kid.
Mark
And
Henry.
Hogan's telling me to drink my milk and eat my vitamins, and you have like Triple H having sex with a corpse. Like it's just, and Big Show with Big Boss Man with Big Show.
Oh, yeah.
Like
And then he hung him in the, or sorry, not that
this
one.
is not the reason why I
Yeah.
went back and watched it, but no, I was like, how are they getting away with this? And it kind of
They were pushing
picked
the
my
edge, yeah,
interest a
it's
little
like-
bit
Yeah.
with how are these guys getting away. And by the time I
Yeah.
kind of picked it up and started watching again, the Attitude Era was over, but you had a lot of decent wrestlers, high flyers, and just technical wrestlers.
You
that
could
were
respect
really
the
good.
ability of people.
So
like
I started watching it again, and I've been watching old matches and come to appreciate the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is some good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of bad too. Don't get me wrong. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you can kind of appreciate it now. You're just like, oh, watch that segment where they say this
Yeah.
stupid stuff, and you can also see amazing,
Yeah, it's really great for clips. Like I found the Attitude Era, because like you could pretty much sum it up in like GIF format when you talk about the Attitude Era, because like there's like small things that really stick out for me, like things like The Rock, like when he was Corporate Rock, like
Yeah. Oh, that pay-per-view Survivor Series where he like turned on like Mankind or the audience, like he's like, you all chanted "Die Rocky Die." That's a great heel turn.
Wait, he
Second best
he
of
did
it,
it was like a GIF I found where he was doing a rock bottom, but he was wearing dress shoes, and he just like slid across.
Oh,
the,
that one, yeah. And he slides. It's
and
great.
like that to me is just like that's like one of the best moments of the Attitude Era. For
Yeah.
some,
They were blessed with people that could work a mic
Yeah.
in the Attitude Era.
And it
that's
wasn't
one
just-
thing new WWE is lacking.
And it
got
wasn't
a
just
couple
the main
guys that
event,
are
so
pretty-
it wasn't just the main event. Like they had their main
It was
like
all the time.
5-8 guys.
Yeah.
But their tag team division was crazy awesome. Like those ladder matches hooked you in. So even if you didn't and then like even like Trish and Lita, like they had some good stuff around then.
Yeah.
And at the same time, WCW is still there, whether you like them or not. Like I know you and I liked it before, you didn't really watch it, but they actually had competition, so they were forced to raise the bar and make you tune into Raw, not Nitro.
Yeah.
You know what
See,
I mean?
that's
or
I think was
Thunder
the
with Kevin Nash's
Kevin Nash's 30
$30,000
second,
fireworks.
yeah.
If you
Oh
haven't
my
watched
God.
it, we should tweet it out again. But it's also one of the funniest things you will
I'll
see.
tweet that out. Oh, so yeah, and I think that was the main point that really kind of set it apart was like as an era that was worth watching, because if they didn't have the competition of Ted Turner, I don't think there would be nearly as many memorable moments, because they wouldn't have to push the envelope as much as they did. Because like I mean, right now their main competition is ROH and TNA, and
Is
like. They're there, but they're not worried, and they're not going to be shut down by either of those companies. So
No, and the thing is, because like people like my mom, like she'll only watch it if you're like I'm home in Ottawa and you're like it's on the background. She's like fine, but she's not really watching. But if you asked her what the other leagues were, she would not know what that is.
Yeah.
And like I think most common people wouldn't. So it's like
Yeah.
until you're on that bar, like people like TNA, it's like I almost like it's every year like oh they're not closed down yet. Like that's like a terrible thought. But it's just
Billy
like,
Corgan's keeping them afloat. So.
Is Billy Corgan working with Jeff Jarrett, or is that a different thing?
Last I heard, he was a consultant writer on TNA in creative. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we're talking about New Day, not the group New Day, which I can't talk about left and right. New Day WWE. What did you guys think of Hulk Hogan Bash at the Beach 1996? Did you watch that because that to me is the best heel turn of all time.
That I did watch, and I never ever expected Hulk Hogan.
And you
to
had
turn heel.
Heenan there, and like Schiavone going, "Whose side is he on?" Even though I don't think he should have said that, but like it's great, and they're throwing stuff at it.
That's one thing I liked about WCW, especially with the stuff with the NWO, and the crowd would just get so angry and so passionate that they would just throw their soft drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, you would never get away with that in WWE. Like
Well,
somebody would throw one.
like about a month ago or like 3 weeks, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a live show apparently, and there's a fan with a fake
was
Money in the
Roman
Bank
Reigns,
briefcase, and they threw it at Roman, and he thought it was like Bray hit him hard or something, and then he realized what it was, and they kind of stopped. But like, you can't throw stuff, especially something that's like hard like that could hurt someone or hit like the ref or something.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, it was like like water bottles like this and just like like cans, and it could.
That's what they wanted out of the crowd back then.
Yeah.
They wanted there to be such a reaction that the world would hear it.
Yeah.
So having this visual of Hogan being pelted with
like
soft
instead of
drinks and
streamers,
everything,
it's
it
like
looked great, right? Especially when they're in competition with WWE at the time.
I think especially because he was wearing the yellow and red at the time too.
Yeah.
Like it was before he wore the black for Hollywood Hogan. Just that visual of like the crowd just booing him was just outstanding.
Yeah.
I loved it.
No, it's that's the moment they really became like around that time was when they became competition for a couple of years for and actually even better competition than WWF or WWE depending what you call them. I thought that was one of the best heel turns of all time. Do you have a promo or a heel turn moment that you love the most? Like either?
It's gonna be when Cena turns heel.
Whenever
when all three is over.
Whenever it's like wish granted number 600 and his new T-shirt sucks as well.
Yeah.
It's really more when a guy like they can have two guys like Roman and Daniel Bryan healthy, or whoever they end up being stars in the next few years, Cesaro maybe. But if they can get 2 or 3 big guys and Cena can actually do that, and they can be such level at his level, they can then turn him. I think they would.
I think they're actually like dangerously close to him being a heel right now. Like the past like the SummerSlam and the past Raw, like we'll go into more detail later, like in our next show, but the how they played out those events, like those were very heelish kind of tactics, and I know it's kind of less about him being a heel and more about just like playing out the other storyline, but like it just it was a very odd choice I think for them to make, because you know it's very very, very close to him being just like.
And I get it though, because like
embracing
he sells the most T-shirts like 50% more than like a bunch of people combined, you know.
Yeah.
So like for that point, you don't want to turn. You don't want to do like with the wishes and the T-shirts. If you turn him heel, is it going to lose the kids that are your money? Like he's a big money maker for them. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Yeah, he's in kind of a tough spot.
He is, and I think like he would kill at that. Let's be honest. Like the guys would cheer him again, like, and then the kids would, and eventually he'd become a good guy again. He's in that spot where he's good until he retires. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like it's just such an interesting thing. His new shirt sucks, by the way. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Orange, green, or
Yeah.
It just looks like
with the
toilet
15
paper.
on the back, which pretty much solidified that like he wouldn't be winning the
And
championship.
on the Raw, he's like, and I didn't know I was gonna have a match because I had these years. Like he was trying to convince you, don't listen to the T-shirt. You're like, I'm gonna win. You're like, that was the giveaway by mistake. You know, like he's not in contention for a while for a title.
This is because what are they going to do? Just sell a T-shirt for like a day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He legitimately would have had that shirt for 2 weeks, maybe tops, maybe a week. And so like, there's no way he was.
Yeah.
That was like the last straw if you were like betting on that match. You know, like Cena wasn't walking away. Okay, so present day WWE, you started to get back in with like us and watching it. Is there a wrestler or a match or something like recently you like, or is there a show or pay per view that stuck out in your mind that
Total Divas.
season 1 or 2? Is there a wrestler that you love or hate?
Excuse me. I'm really becoming a member of the C section, Cesaro section.
Cesaro section, yes.
I think he's a fantastic wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of him. I also love Rollins.
I
think
Rollins.
he's such a
Rollins
slithery.
is like just a peg below New Day in my
Yeah.
eyes.
Yep.
I feel like Ambrose is going to be big. Like he is big, but I think
The
he's
thing
going to
that
be.
sucks for Ambrose is
They don't know how to book him.
it's the right guy in the wrong place, wrong time, everything, because they wanted Roman over, and then they had Seth and him, and like eventually he will be, but like he was so over when he was facing Seth that like all the other matches that they gave to other people, like I don't know why they kind of just buried him, and now he's helping Roman get over, but like it's not going to pay off for him too much, and like he can be a good villain or hero, but just like now it's like it's still not lukewarm, but I feel bad for the guy actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he the way they positioned him recently, he's kind of just going to be in mid-card limbo for a little bit longer, I think. And, they really need to do some tweaking with where he's going if they want to actually, pull the trigger on him at some point.
Yeah.
But-
His selling recently in the last the pay-per-view in Raw, he just looks like a guy who's drunk and fighting and falling over. That's his sell now. That's how he sells. What are your thoughts on Cesaro? You were talking about him. My thing is I think he's a great wrestler, but I don't think he's that great on the mic yet.
No, and that was the issue I think McMahon had with him. He's not great on the mic. I don't think he has to be. I think his
I think he has to be-
technique, his wrestling ability is so great.
But you have to be able to talk on the stick as the
Yeah,
pros
but
call
I
it,
mean the
like-
crowd loves him. And
But it's the same with at a certain point you need so much storyline and someone who can talk a bit.
that's true. I mean, he does need a storyline. I think that's what keeps him kind of mid-card.
I think they
Mid-card
should
level.
maybe throw him into.
You sounded very I think they should you're
Yeah.
let me talk serious for a second.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just thinking the Lance Storm, somebody like him, who wasn't great on the mic, but he was very technically sound,
You could
and
go-
then
yeah.
that played into his character. So he was very, very serious and very boring, kind of, and not entertaining, but he was amazing in the ring. So if they did something to that effect, where they played off the fact that maybe he's not as exciting on the mic, but he gets the job done,
Yeah.
His t-shirts say I don't need this. Maybe it's a picture of a mic and just because his skills backs it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think his theme song is terrible.
Oh,
we were
his
talking
theme
about
song,
this the other
it
day,
needs
and
to
it
go,
doesn't help him.
It's
Is
like
it
Scott
ambulance?
1.2.0, yeah, and it's just and then it's generic, I know you made fun of Seth Rollins music, but it
It's
works for him.
generic wrestling theme number 2. You know?
But it's not even like Seth Rollins at least is grungy and kind of works, but Cesaro's just kind of he had a siren, and then it's just
Yeah.
I can't remember fully, but
Yeah, I think Cesaro's presence, when he comes down to the ring, he's got, the hood, and people seem to like him, and he connects with the crowd really well, but I mean, yeah, you give him
and that's
mic.
only with 2 months of really giving him
But
TV
have they
time.
really given him an opportunity to run with it on the mic? I haven't seen one really.
Yes and no. I don't think you agree with me, but they, because of stuff with Cena and stuff like that, and he gave matches, they've given him more opportunities. It's not a lot of mic time, but that's the same thing with Ziggler that they tried to do. It's we'll give you a little bit here and there, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And maybe the fans will react. So we'll see what happens in the coming months.
Yeah.
If he doesn't deliver it, he doesn't deliver. It's the same with Bray Wyatt. It's they had a lot of belief in him, but and he's good in the ring. But when you really give him, you're oh crap, this guy can go for 20 minutes about nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people just listen. It was every word.
Yeah, no, exactly. So Cesaro doesn't need to be that, but he needs to still be able to be coherent with it, and have
Absolutely.
purpose. Okay, so I hate being negative. Who's a guy you're this guy should be given 60 days notice?
And I hope they have, but I hated not Luke Harper. What's his
Eric
name?
Rowan.
Eric Rowan.
Bike Red?
Bike Red, as we
He
call
is
him.
just. He's terrible. I think he causes a lot of bumps in the ring, and he's just not exciting. I don't know what they were trying to do with him.
even him coming down to
They kind of just went, "Here, your
face.
face, your face, be with the good guys," and he just kind of stood there, had no personality, wasn't
His
exciting
theme
at
song
all.
was okay. That's his best.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like the opposite of Cesaro.
Cesaro should steal his theme song. Uppercut him. He's I'm taking your music.
Yeah.
And it doesn't match him either.
And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he can do Rubik's cubes really
Yeah.
fast and play
Yeah, so
classical
Eric
guitar.
Rowan, just not a very exciting wrestler to watch at all. Just very boring. Ziggler, I'm getting kind of sick of.
I respect the guy. I just I don't know if it's his fault or if he's not pushing or if it's WWE, but something's not connecting. Or it's the same with guys like Neville. It's at a certain point, if you give no storylines, you give me the most athletically gifted guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and that's why Cesaro was in an interesting spot because they're gonna give him a chance, and he's gonna have to sink or swim. And so far, he's doing a pretty okay job. It's
I think he's stepping up.
he is. Yeah, he's getting opportunities. Same with Dean Ambrose. And the hard part is they gave him opportunities, and then where is he now? It's not his fault. They just kind of he wasn't in the plans.
What about R-Truth? How you guys feel about R-Truth?
He's got a new single, a
Does
new
he?
rap single. Check it out. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
but-
He's afraid of heights.
I like his comedy bits, but I find watching an R-Truth match, I just skip through it.
Yeah.
I am you're oh, he got a roll up victory, nice against Barrett or something like that. But, he's great at comedy, and when he was facing Cena at Capital Punishment years ago, that was comedy gold. But he's clearly a guy at the end of his career, and they'll get him maybe he'll get lucky to get the US title match or something like that. But it's the tail end of a career of a guy who's really funny, and he'll be kind of a supplement guy to get people over.
Yeah, and where he came from too. I mean, he had such a rough life growing up, and
He was a backup.
It's just sad
dancer
that
for
he's
Tupac.
like, pre-show material now.
If even no,
Yeah.
and like he like at one point they even, do you remember when they changed his theme song, Get Crunked or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, they try to do you remember that they tried a theme song for about maybe 3 weeks or something like that. He had a new single and it just wasn't connecting with the fans. And that's the thing is, all he had was the theme song, and in the ring they had no storyline. So then they were like, let's just change it back. So it's like his theme song, Get Crunked, if you remember
Bring
it.
it back.
It's time to get crunked or something like that. So like looking forward, is there a guy other than Cesaro you're kind of excited for, or like are you anti-Sheamus like I am?
I feel bad for the guy.
I don't know. I
But,
feel bad for me having to watch Sheamus.
I'm glad that he's a heel now because he seems to be pretty good at it. He's
Yeah.
natural, but he's still so boring. It's just
Mhm.
it's just Sheamus. He's a stupid haircut.
Lobster head.
That's all you can say about him. There's really nothing about
And
it.
HHH's friends, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're gonna do with him, even though he holds the money in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sheamus. I don't know. He's easy to hate.
That's why I brought it up. I was trying to calling you out, brother.
If there's
Fella,
any other?
fella.
No, I think that's it. I'm excited about the new Wyatt family member.
We'll see. We can see where it goes. So they
Finally
might even
something
get a female
different,
member
so
too.
I think that's something they needed. So
There was actually a guy, he was supposed to be on like the third Wyatt family member, and he actually, something happened. I think he was a part of some lawsuit, but he's actually on the show Big Brother 17 this season. And like they're like, hey, that guy was supposed to be the Wyatt member. You're like, and like he actually would have suited it, like watching him, but like I don't know. But so it's just interesting. They waited so long, and they have this guy now, and he can go either way. He's a big guy, but like if he's only Eric Rowan level, he's only gonna last so long.
I don't think he's going to be Eric Rowan level. I think he's going to be a very big, strong
Typhoon
guy.
type?
Yeah.
Typhoon type?
Typhoon.
Or sorry, what's his name? The Stormtrooper guy.
Oh, Shockmaster. Yeah.
Shockmaster.
Yeah.
Go through
There's
walls.
rumors that there might be the female Wyatt member really soon. Actually,
Really?
I know it was originally for a
Sister
while.
Abigail.
Yeah, that's who it'll be. So
How long's her beard gonna be?
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I was like debating what to say there as a joke or be like serious.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like. Let's try to think of a fun little question. What's the funniest online clip that you've ever watched of wrestling over and over again? Like we all watch Botchamania and stuff like that.
Kevin kind of stole it out of my mouth there. It's the Shockmaster. Nothing beats that. It's just so awkwardly timed.
Yeah, I think it's either it got to be the Shockmaster or that GIF that somebody put together of Vince McMahon watching all the bodybuilders.
That's the funniest thing, yeah.
Like-
It's great, and they reuse it with other stuff. Like even like when Blue Jays were on,
Yeah.
they kept showing him like Batista or whatever, and but it's so funny.
Yeah.
Just like McMahon going, oh,
I
and
think-
he's so turned on by the bodybuilder.
I think any Ric Flair gif is
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. It's gold.
Especially
He's meant to be
80s like coked up Ric Flair. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I think there's one where someone throws him into the turnbuckle. He does a full flip over it, lands on his feet on the apron, runs in Hogan's boot, falls out of the ring, gets up and walks down the ramp, and then does his famous drop.
the flop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so perfect.
Anytime he elbows his like
The
suit
jacket. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny.
But botches are always fun to watch. But
Yeah.
those in particular always stand out.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, and like there's always gonna be funny bits, or like even Sheamus has had funny stuff where like with the Vladimir Kozlov and stuff like that. There's always little things, and you forget. You're like, oh yeah, that was really funny, and those are the reasons why you're like maybe getting the network is good. So I hate to go ending on a sad note, but we kind of haven't mentioned it, like because we've been off.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Roddy Piper, Hot Rod, passed away.
Yeah.
Recently, there was a clot in his head, I believe, and so I just like if you guys want to touch on him in just a bit, because I know we did a WrestleMania party this year, and you were actually dressed as him.
Yeah, 2 years in a row was Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic wrestler. I don't know if he was a fantastic wrestler, but he was amazing on the mic. I know we're kind of using that term a lot, but he seemed like a guy who really embodied his role and just like put so much passion into wrestling.
Yeah.
And just loved to entertain. And yeah, he's gonna be missed, even though he wasn't even part of the WWE anymore. His presence was still shown. You look at Ambrose, and he kind of reminds you of Roddy Piper.
Yeah. I was gonna say yeah.
His influence is so strong, and I think that him being gone it sucks.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah. He was an amazing storyteller and just a great performer. And just somebody that just really lived for the business. And I think even maybe even without him fully understanding his impact on it, like influenced so many people, like Dean Ambrose, like hell, even like Stone Cold. You can see like a little bit of Roddy Piper in him, and like just any of the great heels that are really good on the mic. Like you can see like little snippets of Piper in there, and it just he did so much, and just like for him to just kind of like just be gone all of a sudden, it's just such a strange thing. And I mean, it's not like it's kind of the same as Dusty Rhodes, where like nobody really saw it coming, and it was just sort of like at a left field. But I mean, like Roddy Piper seemed a bit more full of life and like more
maybe out of the two there's like and like because he'd make appearances at least once a year or so, give or take, and his influence like Ronda Rousey's like the biggest draw in like UFC or maybe in sports, and like it's just like she got her name from him, he gave her blessing, and like they were saying she dedicated her fight afterwards, she's like to him, and like because her dad like
the way he could work a promo, I mean like the whole the build up to him and Bret Hart when they were fighting, and he's talking about how his mom used to make us sandwiches, and then Hitman gets mad at him, and then he just blows up out of it. It's just like he was so good at it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even like those throwaway promos, you're like, I don't know what's going on here, but he's selling me on it.
Yeah. You always hope for a wrestler like Piper. I just never think we're gonna have something like him again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also like in his WCW stuff around '96 when it was Flair and him, and like against the NWO too, like he was just great against whether it was Bischoff or like supporting Sting and all that. And like I know you make fun of me, like my favorite match as a kid was Virgil versus Ted DiBiase, but one of the most important factors of that was Roddy Piper was always encouraging Virgil. So you had this guy, you want this guy to do it, and he was the voice of going, "You gotta do it now, Virgil, go for it!" And like he really sold that match, and you realize after like he was one of the reasons why that match felt even more to me as a kid.
His Piper Pit segments. I mean, when Undertaker, I think attacked Hogan. I'm trying to remember. Or was it the funeral parlor?
It was a funeral parlor.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I got my segments mixed up.
No, but like the segments.
Yeah, Piper's Pit like helped elevate matches. Like
when he grabbed the coconut and smashed it over Jimmy Snuka's head.
Yeah.
He's in like the first ever main event at WrestleMania and stuff like that.
So
like,
even when Piper wasn't fighting, he'd find ways to help out, to build these matches up. So when we did have our pay-per-view, I think we had like 4 a year in the early '90s or so.
Yeah.
Like Piper would just build them up.
Yeah.
I'd be so excited, even if it was a mid-card. Like a Jake the Snake versus the Undertaker or something like that. I'm not sure if Piper even had an involvement in that, but he would take something like that and he'd just bring it up, and
whether it was like in the ring, on the mic, or just even announce desk, like he just had a presence, and like Hot Rod, thanks for years of and it's just like, and like again, not just in the wrestling ring, like acting world,
They live.
It's
fantastic. One of the best fight scenes in cinematic
and again,
history.
you'll see him live through people like Ronda Rousey and like even Dean Ambrose and all that. So just like he did leave a legacy, and like whether like you said he knew it or not, like it left a legacy, and just like you hear those bagpipes. You knew it was Hot Rod, and you knew you were gonna get this guy who was like amped up, so just like it's crazy. But like it was always entertaining watching him on Coliseum Video and all that.
Absolutely.
So that's Roddy Piper, little tribute there.
Yeah.
So I guess Ryan, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Do you got a Twitter to plug or anything you want to plug?
Not really. I got a small Twitter account that I had for.
We just talked about Roddy Piper building up stuff on the mic, and you're just casually.
You want to see what I ate a couple days ago? You can follow me at.
Maybe we
Ryan.
do, Ryan.
Okay, then you can see my avocado and ham sandwich or something. It's Ryan_Mills. You can find me there, and
I think there's a dad. Ryan. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Ryan_Mills. That's me.
And maybe we'll
prepare not to be entertained.
You're the Seamus of Twitter. I am at the Lindsay Lewis on Twitter.
I'm at Kevin Harron on Twitter.
And we also have a Twitter account for our show.
At Vintage Podcast.
And you may be watching us or listening to us right now on iTunes. You can listen to us. Find us at Smithy Channel or just look for Vintage Podcast.
Yeah, and on iTunes, rate, subscribe, leave a review.
Listen to it 4 times. Tell your friends about it.
Yeah, tell people. Also, Still let us know. Virgil, yes. Virgil, no.
Hashtag Virgil, yes. Hashtag Virgil, no.
I am all for Virgil, so I'm a Virgil, yes.
All right, we got our first Virgil, yes.
Be the first Virgil, no or yes, to join him. And thank you for listening and watching. And watch us on YouTube as well. And tell your friends who are indie wrestling fans if you want to watch our show. And we'll keep doing it. We'll be reviewing and watching all these shows. And Ryan, thank you for coming down.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, and for Vintage Podcast, we'll eventually have a tagline to leave off of.
And until then, New Day. I always end with New Day.